And we're live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dan Folds.
I'm Brandon Bain.
Our show is being produced tonight by Lawrence Bennett, who's behind the cameras. And hey, the most important part of this show is you. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, Speed Weeks. We're deep into the schedule, and I am so excited about that racing. First things first, let's talk about last Sunday's Clash. Brandon, what did you think of that race?
Last Sunday's Clash was an absolute mess. Longest running Clash of all time. 5 cars on the lead lap, I'm pretty sure. 6 cars total. It was a complete disaster.
So that 75-lap race ran 88 laps. So I came to coaches thinking like this is going to be a little short thing, you know, and then we're going to have to go find something else to do. And it ended up in being a full afternoon of excitement. It was a demolition derby. It was spectacular. Yeah. We had it on the jumbo screen. And again, folks, the only thing missing was you and the smell of burning rubber. So the Clash winner was Eric Jones. Eric was the 2015 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. He was the champion. He completes now full-time in the Cup Series. He drives the number 20 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. All right, Brandon, let's talk about that assist that Denny Hamlin gave Eric Jones.
That was absolutely amazing. I mean, the damage that were done to both of those cars during that race, and for them to be able to still get together, push to the front, blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind.
So if Hamlin hadn't been 2 laps down, so he wasn't going to win the race. Do you think he still would have helped him?
Yeah, it would have been a totally different ball game.
Would it?
Oh yeah, he would have helped him until it was time not to help.
They would help till it was time for him to come around and win the race.
That's it.
Okay, well that's what it's about, right? Winning the race. So he's with Joe Gibbs. Is Joe Gibbs a big deal in NASCAR?
Oh yeah, Joe Gibbs is a big deal in quite a few sports and motorsports. You know, obviously Super Bowl coach. Owns NASCAR team, built his organization up to being pretty much, I would say, hands down, one of the best stables in NASCAR.
Awesome.
Very dominant. Motocross, there's a lot of things that he has his hand in.
He can do anything, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, if he touches it, it turns to gold. All right, big. Let's talk about the Thursday races. Those are called the duels.
Yep, dual 125.
Guys, we're going to have those Thursday races on here at Coach's Corner big time. As a matter of fact, you can just go ahead and consider Coach's Corner the center of the universe to be the Daytona North parking area, and the Sound Garden is where we're going to have the race on. Sound Garden and inside. So what do we have to look forward to on Thursday, Brandon?
You're going to see a lot of guys going for it. This is a lot of guys' only chance to get into this race. If they don't qualify, they don't get in. And this is a huge, huge money payday for these very small, independent, family-owned or single-guy-owned, single-car teams.
So is it just the winner that gets in of each race?
No. Basically, the front row is set. 1 and 2 qualified. So 3, it'll go, you know, if you win the first one, 3rd, you win the second one, 4th, so on and so forth as you finish through the order.
Okay. Thank you. One of my favorite things to watch at the track, back when I used to cover NASCAR races as a medevac helicopter pilot. I've been to Darlington and I've been to Atlanta. I love the trucks. I just think they're cool, they look cool, they sound cool. They're just spectacular. Now, I don't know a lot about NASCAR, which is why I asked Brandon if he would come up here and educate me. My understanding is that the history of the trucks is that Toyota used the trucks as a can opener to pry the lid off NASCAR and get Toyotas into the racing scene. Is that correct?
A little bit. Truck Series started, I don't remember if it was 95, 96. It started a while ago. And you're right, it's very different racing. It's very fun to watch. It's one of my favorite races to watch. But what they have done now is basically, as baseball has farm teams, that's kind of a developmental for young drivers. Okay. That's where they get their feet wet as far as running with, whether it be Gibbs or whatever the car owner may be. They get to, you know, showcase their talent, and if it's good, and it keeps building up the ranks till you get to Monster Cup.
So the kids that are in the trucks today will be on the big track. Could be in a year or so.
Could be.
All right. Spectacular. By the way, fans, if you have a question, go ahead, post your questions in a comment. We'll look at these questions and we'll answer them right here for you. The thrust of this is to educate me about NASCAR, and while we're educating me, maybe we'll educate some of you. This is Brandon Bain. At a very young age, he was nicknamed Big, so you're going to hear me call him Big a lot. I'm not going to comment on what that's all about, but this is Big, and he is the NASCAR expert, and I'm very glad that he has agreed to do this and help make me smarter about this.
Yes.
So here on Friday at 7:30 p.m., we're going to have the trucks on, and we're going to tailgate right here in the Sound Garden. So Brandon, tell me about your take on the history of the biggest race in the world, the Daytona 500.
Yeah, it is America's great race, you know. I mean, anybody who's anybody in that sport has won that race.
Right.
It took one of the best a very, very long time to win that race. You win that race, your name's on that trophy forever. You're cemented into the history books, and it's really neat and unique for NASCAR. That is the biggest single race of the year. You know, people will say, what about championship? And it takes 35 other races to make it to those final four to win that championship.
Right.
This is a one-time, one-shot deal. You either win or you don't. You have to wait a whole year to come back and do it again. So,
thank you. That's spectacular. What is your favorite Daytona 500 memory?
That's a hard one to call, but I have two. My favorite one, obviously, because it's my favorite driver of all time, Jeff